Oh, whoa, we are live. Hi, we are live on WR2W's YouTube. I'm Nick Poor, here with Scott Rosenberg and Nick Perkins. Joining us later will be Henry Long, David Korn, Liam O'Murchu, and possibly Ashley Tobin, depending on when her flight lands, but I would not pin hopes to it. There's Liam O'Murchu. Guys, how's everyone doing today?
Excited to see a bracket finally. It's been a long week of championships, so excited to see it all come down to it.
So, Scott, we were at the A10 tournament, obviously. For those of you who don't know, we're coming live from GW, or I'm still on campus. Are you guys both home? Or are you guys all home?
I'm home, yeah.
Okay.
I'm home.
I'm still on campus. I'm going home tomorrow.
All right, yeah. So,
I was at the A10 tournament final today.
yeah, so you saw the Spiders knock off Davidson. We were...
Yeah, it was a fabulous game.
That was a good game.
I was I was working the GW baseball game, so I had basically the director of the programming, Jeremy Schrank, just reporting what's going on. Davidson free throws, missed three, whatever. So I was following it live as well. That was an outstanding game. Wow, and this actually worked the way I wanted it to. I'm surprised. So for those of you watching this, on the left side of your screen is us. And on the right side of your screen is a bracket that I will live be entering information into as it comes out. And we can all talk about how we feel. But Nick P, well, before we started, you were asking tournament favorites. Who do you have as the team to beat this year in March Madness? Is there a clear favorite?
Well, I think just like last year, the clear favorite might not be the team who we all think is going to win. Because I think the clear favorite is still Gonzaga because they are ranked the best in basically every category. All the net rankings have them number one. As we saw last year, obviously very different team, but similar situation for them when they went undefeated last year. They made a run to the finals, didn't win. There's sort of the whole idea about how the best team from the season, if they go undefeated, if they're so totally dominant, it seems obvious that they're going to win, then they can't actually win. So we'll see if they can break that curse this year. But I feel like if we're just talking pure odds, then they might not be many people's picks, but they have to be the favorites.
Liam, Scott, do you guys agree with Gonzaga coming out of a weaker conference with the WCC, although they had to deal with a lot of St. Mary's who were outstanding during the regular season? Do you see anyone else as potential contenders?
I mean, I guess I could go first. I think, every year we go into this tournament and like Mark Few and his team are always the kind of number one choice. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I'm under the impression that I have to kind of see the bracket because it depends on who you play. But if we're just talking the projected number 1 and 2 seeds at the moment, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Baylor makes a run. Obviously, this is a team that kind of obviously is still a number 1 seed, but they did really well, at least in the beginning stretch of the season. So they can make a run when they need to. But also, I'm going to just go ahead and say, don't be surprised if Duke doesn't really get as far as you think. That's going to be my hot take.
And entering now, we also have our foreign correspondent, David Korn, live from Paris. We figured out the time difference. Don't show that off on the WRW broadcast, but he's Parisian and legal right now.
What's up, gentlemen? How are we doing today?
We're doing great. We're talking about tournament favorites. Scott said it's not clear based off the bracket. Nick went into great detail about Gonzaga, just how dominant they've been this year. Liam or David, who do you guys have? Do you agree on the Zags, or do you have someone else?
I agree on the Zags.
I mostly agree on the Zags. But the thing about Gonzaga is they've never, and I guess Mark Few, it's one of those things, until he wins the tournament, you kind of think that he won't do it. But I really like Arizona and I really like Villanova, but I also was born inside the school district that is on the Villanova campus. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but no, I really like Arizona.
So here's my thing, Liam. I don't like Gonzaga usually. I never pick them.
They always
but
disappoint.
I'm so sure of them this year that I'm able
you're
to
so
get
sure
over
that
my
you're gonna
fears.
Okay.
They're so good that I'm able to get over that.
Yeah.
Because beyond Holmgren and Timmy, Nembrand is awesome. I think he's one of the top point guards in the country. They're so
It's hard.
good.
Your number 1 overall seed has just been confirmed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. and they will be facing the Georgia State Panthers out of the Southwest. They
Oh my
were
gosh.
upset pick. Sorry, this is coming at us right now. I thought normally they do a little more talking before they announce it. We have it already. Georgia
I love
State,
it.
easy matchup
And
there.
Nick Perkins. I remember I was talking to you about this on your show on the Bandwagon.
We did talk about this. Yes.
One of the other reasons I love Gonzaga is because the West Coast Conference is really good this year.
Oh,
So, unlike past years, they've had to play good teams beyond December. Like that matchup against St. Mary's in February where they lost, I think that's better for them as a team than any kind of crappy win they would have against, I don't even know, like, who else is in the West Coast Conference?
San
What's a bad team there?
Francisco.
Oh, no, the
that was
Dons
one
are
of
good
San
this year.
Francisco.
Like
Who?
Santa Clara, like a
Oh,
win against them
yeah.
or something. Like that loss against St. Mary's was so huge.
So they have
Yeah, I mean,
no, keep going, Liam. Sorry.
sorry. I was just going to say that the WCC was stronger this year, but still not as strong as any of the power conferences. So it's hard. It's hard to evaluate a team that plays their best opponents at the beginning of the year. Like they play these teams in November and December. Obviously Gonzaga's good, but it's just that I think a little bit further complicates looking like, oh, how are they going to match up against like the best teams? So,
ACC.
well, yeah, but I think Duke's going to lose in the first round.
I know. So I think the West. I think
hope Duke loses in the
WCC was
first
better
round.
than the ACC this year.
wow.
Yeah,
The
I
hot
think that's
takes early.
Is anybody
Yeah, no, I
watching
think
what's
that's-
going on here?
Rutgers
Yeah.
will be dancing, which I think is
Wow.
outrageous. They were
They were first four out. I thought last I checked. They were outside of the bubble.
Yeah, I thought putting them in the first four out was a little outrageous as is. So Rutgers coming out of Big Ten, they're the first surprise to start into the tournament. They were rough out of conference. They were only 6-5, but in conference, in a competitive conference, they went 12-8. 78th net rank in the nation, 75th ranked offense according to Ken Palm. 75th overall, and the 43rd defense ranked according to Ken Palm. So that's the first big surprise of the day, that them and Notre Dame will both be dancing.
I think Uconn as a 5 seed is also a bit of a surprise. I would have thought that they would have gotten a bit higher than that.
Yeah, so they could easily...
UConn's only a 5.
Yeah, they could pose an early problem. They'll have Gonzaga if they get to the Sweet 16. They'll have to get through New Mexico State and then most likely Arkansas. Woof, they also have Michigan State. This is...
New Mexico State. That's not a challenge for the Huskies.
No, for Gonzaga.
What is-
famous
Duke, the
last
number 2
words.
seed.
Michigan
We just
State
saw
gets Davidson, who make it in off the bubble after losing to Richmond
Davidson
earlier
wasn't
today.
on the bubble. Don't be silly.
Hey, they technically were. They were at large, I guess.
I like Bama as a 6 seed to make a bit of a run because they did play the hardest schedule in the nation according to Ken Palm. So maybe their seeding doesn't actually reflect as much of what the team can do. They've played a bunch of harder teams. I kind of like them as a 6 seed. I wouldn't count them out for some upset potential down the
scares me.
road.
Alabama takes too many 3-pointers. They go cold one day. They can lose. I don't like Alabama. Maybe they will make a run because on the other side of that, it's if they make all their 3-pointers,
Exactly.
then they win by like 25 points. But yeah, Bama's an interesting team. They were expected to be much better than they actually were, and then they really put it together midway through the year, and so interesting team. They're definitely dangerous.
Last two teams are another team that GW is familiar with. Cal State Fullerton getting an automatic bid. They get through after bodying GW on our painful trip out west. They'll have to go against Coach K and Duke, who are possibly the most driven team in the tournament. I'd say them and Gonzaga. Gonzaga always being the little brother, what's it called? Bridesmaid, never a bride. And Duke going out with Coach K in his final season. I think this is a great West region. Well, okay, playing GW a certain way is...
Because if they are, then I'll take Cal State Fullerton.
Hey, they had to go. Where do they play that tournament? Is that one still at the Garden, or is that's Big East? Never mind. Duke will be If they have to travel, you never know. So we're seeing. I don't know.
They'll be in Greenville, South Carolina. That's big time home court advantage. Also, can we talk about the fact that the West region is being played in Greenville, South Carolina, and Buffalo, New York? Since when is that the West of the United States?
I guess West if you live. I can't even think of an argument for it now.
I think they're just arbitrary now. Honestly, I don't think it means. Yeah. At this point, that's not West.
So wait, Gonzaga chose to play in Greenville because the overall seed chooses.
Do they?
Gonzaga's in
Right.
Portland.
Is that how that
Yeah.
works?
Okay. So then,
Yeah.
so they chose Portland because I know there's a big thing where Coach K requested Duke to be in Chicago. I remember reading that.
Why would he?
Like if they, because
That might
he
why?
personally has family in Chicago.
Oh, he wanted to end there.
Does that mean though? Oh, sorry, David. Keep going.
No, that was it. So it was like funny because he instead of playing in South Carolina, so that might have changed, but there was like a narrative at some point where he wanted to play in Chicago.
I was gonna say because so Gonzaga just got. I mean, they knew they were gonna be a 1 seed, but I guess if you know you're gonna be a 1 seed, then how does the NCAA then ask you if you don't if the bracket's not set yet though? For for instance, Duke was on the cusp until they lost last night of being a 1 seed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's if you end up being the 1 seed, where would you want to go?
Wow.
So if they meet in the Sweet or in the Elite Eight, they would be in San Antonio, Texas. It looks like at the AT&T Center. And yeah,
Have they hosted a Sweet 16 before?
unsure.
San Antonio?
I feel like that's a weird spot for one of those tournaments. Because I feel like those are usually kind of bigger markets.
Oh,
Good for San
they pick a
Antonio.
lot
They're a
of
big
countries.
basketball city.
San Antonio, well, they got the Spurs. There's a presence there in that. That's the South Regional. Sorry, they flipped the ordering here. The West Regional will be in San Francisco, California, in opposition territory for the Zags. WCC rivals do play in that region, San Francisco.
Wait, did the
Pepperdine.
Dons make the tournament?
No.
Okay.
So this is what we have so far. Looking at the lower seeds, we've got Georgia State, Memphis, New Mexico State, Vermont, everyone's favorite 13 seed every single year, Rutgers or Notre Dame, Montana State, Davidson, and Cal State Fullerton. Any upset picks out of those 8 teams here early?
Not Vermont.
Every year they come and then they just get bodied coming out of the American
Yeah.
East.
I don't think John Becker has ever beaten a team above 60 in Ken Palm.
No
They're
Vermont
good.
Slenders here. They almost beat Florida State a few years ago.
Well, yeah, but
They're good.
yeah, they're good, but you need to win.
They're the second best team in New England, I think, beyond Uconn.
Oh, behind Bryant. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah, wait, not
Dude, no,
ahead of Brian.
Bryant, dude, Peter Kiss, what a guy!
Did you see
I love Peter Kiss.
the highlight of Peter Kiss? He makes a shot and looks at someone in the crowd and he goes, "That's for you."
There was a reporter who voted him not the
Unanimous.
American East Player of the Year.
Was it like the Shaq thing where it was everyone but one guy, so now he hates the one guy who didn't make him unanimous?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Vermont is 2-1. Sorry, no, in quad 1 they are 15-0.
Wait,
then
in quad 1?
Oh,
No,
sorry,
you
wrong one. Quad 4 they're 7-2, which is actually still pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's good. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see John Becker go to UMass or URI.
That could
Those
be
openings.
interesting. Oh,
Anyway, that's-
we just seeded. Speaking of Bryant Bulldogs, they will be facing off against Arizona.
What? They're a 16 seed?
I'm a little blown away by that. Bryant was extremely strong. I get that they're not coming
Well,
out of the best conference.
There were some projections for them to be in the first 4, so I think that's fine.
I guess the NEC is weak. They had to get past Wagner in their conference finals. Then we have Seton Hall, another team that just always feels like an 8 or a 9 seed. They will be playing. Oh, they are in the play-in. They didn't show that at first. It's Bryant Bulldogs against Wright State. Another team GW could actually we beat them. So technically, if Wright State beats Bryant, we're a tournament team.
We beat them in the
Obviously.
what was it, like the middle school gym in Florida?
Yeah, the Naples Invitational.
Jesus.
Think we'll have a bit of a step up from that gym when we're in Hawaii next year.
Oh yes.
That's a good. Can we
Yeah,
talk about
only a
that for a
5
second?
seed?
Yeah, wait, let's talk
That's
about
a
that.
really-
Well, I'll just keep punching these in.
Yeah,
It's
Nick,
a really
you're from
good
Houston.
field.
Yeah, no, it is a good field, especially compared to the terrible fields that they've had in the past. Or that GW's
Also,
had.
like just Rick Pitino, that he'll be there. Like that's fun.
Mm.
Patino. He's with Iona now, right?
Exactly.
Iona's
So
not
Iona's going to be there.
Yeah.
Wazoo's going to be there. SMU's going to be there. Like there's some good teams.
Speaking of good teams,
You guys
Houston,
gonna make the trip?
5.
Is SMU going to be there?
So
Yeah.
we're gonna Liam some WGW background knowledge. We're gonna have a meeting with Kevin. We think in a few weeks. We're gonna try and see if GW Sports the athletics firm will fund our way travel. So
They
if they
used
do, we're
to.
there.
They don't even fund the teams that they have. I have to cut them because I don't have enough
I
money
know.
for them.
Well,
Fair play,
so
but
our thinking is our rationale is UMass and Fordham pay for their radio.
yeah, but
So
Yeah.
their
No,
teams
that's-
are better than
yeah.
ours.
so we're gonna be like, are you saying UMass and Fordham are better than you?
They're gonna be like,
that's
no, but we
that's
don't
not
have
how
enough
we're
money for
pitching it. We're pitching it as
No, but
prior to COVID they did that, so why not send us again?
Yeah.
Because David was
Yeah.
supposed to go to the Bahamas for the Bahamas Invitational 3 years ago.
Yeah, my freshman year.
Michigan is an 11 seed. They'll get Colorado State.
I will
think
be at those games in
That's a
Pittsburgh.
tough match.
So there you go.
So wait, let's review
Follow me
those.
on Twitter.
Liam, which
Sure.
games are you going to see?
I'm gonna see all the games in Pittsburgh.
Which ones are they?
I literally just went off my screen, but it's Houston game and the Illinois game so far, and I don't know what the other ones are, but there's a few other.
You're going to
games.
see Kofi. What do you think of Kofi Cockburn?
I think he's a. I don't know. I think he's a terrific player. Yeah, Kofi Cockburn is a great player. Kofi Coburn, he's an animal, but Kofi Cockburn is
Oh
unstoppable.
crap! Did I mispronounce it? It's Coburn.
Yeah, wait, you didn't know it was Coburn?
No, he was saying Cockburn.
Okay, I think that's my cue to leave, guys.
Yeah. Anyways, the Longwood Lancers making their first tournament appearance as a 14 seed. Speaking of first appearance, IUPI is making their first ever tournament appearance. Not in men's, though. We'll see them later in women's. They've secured a seed. Of course, this is the team that legendarily had open tryouts for their D1 men's basketball program. Loyola Chicago is a 10 seed. They have to go against Big Ten Ohio State in the first round.
We're counting Loyola Chicago as an Atlantic 10 team because they'll be in the Atlantic 10 next year.
Yes.
3 day
Just so
10
we-
bid.
Just exactly three. I don't know if you guys know the podcast 3-Bid League. It's true.
And there's are they the same ones on Twitter or is that 2-Bid League?
That's I think it's those guys on Twitter. They were at the tournament. I saw them.
So don't worry, everyone. Just wanted to say this, that Jameer Nelson Jr. will not make it far in this tournament because they're going to get smacked by Villanova.
Oh, that'll be fun.
2 versus the Delaware's a 15. So
Yeah, Delaware, the Blue Hens making their first tournament appearance since 2014, going up against Villanova, the team that won, I think, that same year, 2014. Ooh,
they
well,
won the whole thing.
yeah.
No,
was
they
that-
did not. They won in 2016 and 2018.
Dang, you're right. I messed up on that one. I was trying to track back to middle school, and it wasn't that far back. Oops. But Nova, 6th team in net rating against quad. Well, what quad would Delaware be? I don't even know.
3? I'm not sure.
Against quad 3 teams, Nova are.
Oh, that
undefeated.
Villanova Delaware game will be in Pittsburgh.
So you're gonna get to see that.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. This is like suddenly I'm all Delaware Blue Hen out. I went to all of their conference tournament games, and now
Yeah.
I'm going to their first NCAA tournament.
You were at all of the. What did you think of them at the CAA? I'm kind of shocked that they won, despite seeing every single game. I didn't think that they were the best
Yeah.
team on the court.
I don't know. I thought that win over Towson was really impressive.
That was good.
But yeah, I think Villanova was gonna kind of run over them with relative ease. But I love Andrew Carr, Chester County product. Shout out Chester County. He was great. I thought he made the all tournament team. I thought he was so good, especially in the final. So
I'm trying to pull up the men's basketball statistics for Villanova, but the NCAA website is killing me.
Imagine a little bit of traffic there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably should have printed out some of these stats. But Nova from the Big East. I'm a little shocked to see Houston only at they're coming in as a 5 seed. They'll get the UAB Dragons. That's my favorite name.
So Houston doesn't have a quad 1 win this year. They also don't have a quad 1 loss. Well, no, they probably do have a quad 1 loss. But obviously they're very good, but they're playing in like a weak conference. So I don't know, it's really interesting how to kind of evaluate a team like Houston that was dominant in the AAC, but does not have a quad 1 win.
Yeah, they had to go against, I guess, a couple good teams. Memphis, SMU, that's pretty much it. Wichita State was fine, I think, but they definitely were not one of the more competitive Power 5s. Loyola Chicago as a 10 seed kind of surprised me. I've seen a lot of people put them as high as a 7 or an 8. To see them drawn as a 10, kind of interesting. But this is not the team. Everyone's got to remember the Sister Mary years. Sister Mary is still there, but Loyola Chicago is a different team now, led under...
You mean Sister Jean?
Sister Jean. Wow, I'm having a tough morning. Or 5 p.m. Embarrassing.
6 p.m. Yeah.
Loyola Chicago Ramblers. They're now led by Lucas Williamson, a grad student. He was MVC Defensive Player of the Year, the first team, and he scores 14 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, all on the dot. Not much else left from this team. Their second best player is Braden Norris, a senior guard, 10.3 points per game, 3.9 assists per game. They're kind of on the edge of that, like there's remnants left from that team that made a run 3 years ago, and then the team that was consistent last year. What were they? Sweet 16, then knocked out to the Oregon State Beavers? I think. Yeah, it was it was like a 12-8 matchup in the Sweet 16, I think, or something weird. So we'll look at these. Any upset picks out of these teams?
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I personally wouldn't be surprised if Chattanooga pulls through.
I was going to say, yes.
That is going to be my upset in this one. They looked hot in the tournament in terms of how they played. I did see that final live. You've probably all seen it through the clip of the last second shot, the game winner. But they've been hot, and also I don't know. I've seen highlights from Illinois. Not a huge fan, but they are. I mean, they're a good team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chattanooga finds a way to pull through.
Chattanooga does some of the basics, right? Their free throw percentage is a top 60 in the nation. They shoot 30% on top 30 on twos. So they're just going to go to the basket, get free throws, make shots at the rim. That could pose a problem with Illinois and Kofi Cockburn. It's going to be an interesting matchup there, but Chattanooga is definitely on fire. They had a great end to their season, as you said, with the buzzer beater and that game winner.
I mean, Nick, if you want the best matchup for Houston too, that would be Chattanooga, because I don't see them getting too far. If we're talking about first round upsets, which happen every year, this could be one. You gotta
pick a 12 seed and a 13 seed somewhere. Okay, why is it not letting me just delete these?
I think Michigan over Colorado State's not a bad one either. They're both very offense-heavy teams. They have the 19th and 20th best offense, according to KenPom. And then they also both have the 91st and 83rd ranked defense, respectively. So it'll be an exciting game, if nothing else. And I do think in a game like that, where it's going to be very offense-heavy, neither team is going to be as pertinent on the defensive end. That's prime for an upset.
That is true. If everyone's making baskets, it's literally just 2 blinks first.
Exactly.
And then a game where we're not going to see an upset. Texas Southern or Texas... I'm running out of space. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. I think they were in it a year ago.
With more Division I transfers. Only school with more Division I transfers than GW coming into this year.
Really? Like in history, or just this season, you mean?
Just this season. Yeah, I think they had like 11.
Wow.
Or maybe it's just overall transfers. Anyway.
And then Creighton.
Richmond, 12 seed.
Oh, interesting. So they're below
Iowa.
Davidson because Davidson is coming in as a. Oh, I deleted them. I think they're a 10
Davidson
seed.
got the 10 seed.
Yes.
I think they're Michigan State.
Ugh.
Richmond unfortunately got Iowa. That's tough.
Iowa is one of my sleepers to get deep.
Yeah. With the right matchup, Richmond probably could have made it past the first round, but that's a tough break.
I'd like to take that back. I got my genders flipped. The women's Iowa team is the team I think can go deep. I got my genders flipped.
The men's team is good though. I don't think they're like they were a couple years ago. I forgot what that team was specifically, but they're good. They can make it. They're not my like main sleeper. That's yet to come. But
yeah, I just like Iowa behind Caitlin Clark. I think that she's one of the most dynamic guards in women's basketball at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Providence and South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. That's going to be an interesting first-round matchup. So every year I do a bracket where it's what would win in a fight. So now we have the Friars against the Jackrabbits, and I'm excited for that. I Zoom my friend from home, and we put it together. Or when we're in person, we put it together. LSU as a 6. And can you guys... Oh, you guys can't see the thing that I'm putting on the YouTube. Okay, because I have like a bracket that I'm doing on here, but you guys all have the CBS information out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State.
NCAA website's also updating it live if you go there.
Wow, can you text me that link? Because I could
Yeah, I
be
got you.
doing that instead of typing
I'll put
out
it in the
my
chat.
updates. Because you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm literally just one by one, and I can't even type Wisconsin. Wisconsin a 3. And oh, there we go. The Red Raiders. Go Gate.
How about LSU after Will Wade got fired yesterday?
So is he's not doing him a call. He's gone. Because
No,
that
he's
was
not. I think he broke some rules that they had to get him out. I don't know exactly what he did, but some sort of cheating business. So
yeah, he is gone. Everyone's
he's got more.
Oof.
He has more NCAA scandals than NCAA tournament wins. It's true.
My favorite stat is I think Granit Xhaka in Arsenal has made more Twitter apologies than he's scored goals for the team.
That's brilliant.
That is my
awesome.
favorite statistic ever. That and my co-host texted me yesterday that Fred has more goals in his National League than Messi does. And that is just painful as well.
Yeah, Messi's not been great this year. What about Colgate?
I love the
I
Red
like
Raiders, baby. I think they're an outstanding offensive team, and if they're hitting threes, they're going to go. Last season, they came in game 1. I think they were 14 seed then as well, and they got bumped out just because they were not hot from deep. But if they can just find their rhythm, they're the second best three-point shooting team in the nation. If they can find it, it's over. They could make an immense run.
Yeah, Matt Langel or Langel, I don't know. However you pronounce it, he's a phenomenal coach, and he's another person who I wouldn't be surprised to see him coaching in the Atlantic 10 one of these days.
Ooh.
Or maybe he'll make it even a bigger jump. So, anyway.
Is there anything bigger than the A10, though?
No,
Absolutely
there's not. Especially after that electric final today.
Isn't it called the A10 because it's like the A list?
Yeah.
Like the
There you go.
the
Now
top
we're-
10
now we're
teams in the
talking.
country,
Mhm.
right?
If only GW could be included in such.
Which would make Davidson the number 1 team in the country this year. Interesting.
Well, or Richmond. Richmond knocked them.
Oh, that's true. I'm so sorry, Richmond. My
Okay,
bad.
so
You can fill out your bracket, have a Richmond Davidson final, Scott.
Oh,
Are they
Sure,
on
but
the-
it's possible.
are they
They're
on
on
opposite
they're on
sides?
opposite
Yeah,
sides.
a rematch.
No, they're not on opposite sides. I don't think. Are they?
I think they are.
I think they are because they
Oh,
go diagonal. I think.
No, we're on the third.
Okay, window capture, add source. There we go. This is going to be a lot better. Use a new source instead. Okay, there we go.
I think
We
one
want to talk
game.
about-
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do we want to talk about how dumb it is that Jacksonville State is in this tournament?
Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be the Bellarmine Knights. So, Scott, we were talking about this in the station with
Yeah.
Henry. They won, Bellarmine won their conference tournament, but because it's only their second year in D1, they do not qualify, which is one of the worst rules I think I've ever heard.
There's no reason for it. I don't know, Nick and Liam, if you want to opine on this, but yeah, no, we were talking about it, and I don't think either of us see a reason as to why, even if we think it's wrong, why the NCAA would even consider having that as a rule. Like, how does it benefit in any way?
It doesn't. I mean, I think the thing that is the most stupid is that I'm forgetting the name of the team that won the finals of that tournament. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the team that they beat Jacksonville State in the Final Four.
Right. Yeah.
So there's just no reason that they should be considered the champions of that league and should be getting the automatic bid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't automatic, at the very least, I don't think they're good enough to give it. I mean, they're 15, right? So
they're not going to beat Auburn.
Right, but even that is hot. You know, for a team like that, that's got to be a play-in game. I mean, that's got to be a round game. It's not a. You don't give them just like a true bid.
Them over Bryant. It's disrespectful.
Yeah,
disrespectful. Or them ahead of Bryant. It is rivaled only in stupidity by conferences like the CAA not allowing James Madison to play in the conference tournament because they're leaving next year.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they didn't allow them to
Where
play.
are they
not
going?
Just in basketball. They're going to, I think, the Sun Belt.
Yeah, or was it the ASUN?
Is that a better conference?
No, Sun Belt.
Yeah, the ASUN. It's something they're doing it for football.
Is that a better conference for them?
For football, yeah, but for basketball, no.
Doesn't really matter. They don't really care about basketball, I guess.
Well, like, who won the Sun Belt this year? That's, I guess, my question. Is it a good?
I have the Sun Belt right here. The Sun Belt winner was Georgia State, who are a 16 seed.
Oh, okay.
But that was an upset run. There's like a better Sun Belt team that didn't make it, I think.
My bad. Sorry, Liam.
No, I don't have much else to say. Just that I think it's stupid to punish the student athletes for a decision that they didn't make.
Right, and it's not even their sport. That's the reason they made that decision. It has literally nothing to do with the basketball team.
And it's all sports they're keeping the JMU teams out of all conference championships, which is ridiculous. But anyway, back to the I want to know what you guys think about Auburn, because they were, at least in my mind, by far the best team in college basketball for a while, and it seems like they've kind of fallen off recently.
Yeah, they were red hot. Right? I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're going to be a 1," and that was a couple weeks ago. But now things are not the same. Did they have an okay showing in the SEC tournament? I'm gonna be honest, I missed that one.
They lost to Texas A&M in like the I think their first game in the quarterfinals.
Texas A&M had a decent. They went on a run in that tournament, right? They lost in the finals.
Yeah, I think so. They lost to Tennessee.
The Aggies.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about Auburn? Because obviously they're good. They have a lot of talent. Walker Kessler's phenomenal. Jabari Smith? What's his name? He's really good too. So what do you guys think?
I like Auburn, but I do think at the end of the game, Auburn faces one of the quintessential college basketball problems when they have this incredible small forward in Jabari Smith Jr. and you have the ball in the hands of still good but less incredible guards, and then they're the ones making all the key late game decisions. Whereas, like, if this were the NBA, at the end of the game, you just have Jabari bring up the ball because he's your best player. But here they still have the point guard, have the guards bring up the ball, and then it just sort of comes down to their whim and what they decide. And they often, I've watched a few Auburn games, tend to not make the best decisions, tend to not get the ball in the hands of Jabari when they need to. And I think that's a quintessential problem in college basketball when you're built around someone aside from one of your guards. So I do think that's a danger for them in the tournament, is not having the right player taking the shots at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, look, Wyoming will be dancing. Were they actually an at-large? I thought they had captured their tournament.
Yeah, no, they were
They're at large, but they're still a play-in, which is interesting, and especially against Indiana, which is definitely, I would say, the team that's probably going to be favored in that matchup, or that at least I would favor. But because they had a good showing, especially in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament.
They've got Trace Jackson Davis. He's a terrific player.
Yeah, and then I think I'm okay with UCLA at a 4.
I do not think UCLA is good. I think they're a bunch of frauds.
Whoa,
Hot
elaborate.
take.
I just don't think they have that many quality wins. Like
That's
it was,
fair.
I think it was an easy when I'm like looking at them versus like Arizona. It's like okay, I think Arizona's miles above them. So I don't know. I think what are they at? What are they 4?
Yes, they just entered
Yeah.
as a 4.
I don't know that potential matchup with St. Mary's, especially because it's in Portland. Well, actually, I guess that's not super close to St. Mary's. Anyway, that'll be a good game. Is what I'm trying to say.
St. Mary's, I think, has been one of the most interesting teams because they've always just been the team that is at least okay going against Gonzaga. But they had a really good season. Mateus Toss, 12.6 points per game, 6 rebounds. Guess what country that name is from? Toss. Taas.
Germany.
Estonia. Senior forward, 245, 6'10". He's a beast inside. Oh, Yale just got Purdue after their tournament upset over Princeton.
I know a lot of people very excited about Yale winning the Ivy League.
Do you know people at Yale or just a Yale fan? Yeah.
Purdue moved down. They were
a lot
supposed
of
to be a
excited
2 seed,
people.
I think.
Yeah, Purdue, they're high in a lot of the statistical rankings. Ken Pom has them as the best offense, but the 103rd defense in the country. So we'll see if they can hold back the Yalians.
To be fair, I believe Yale has a below 200 ranked offense, so that shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, I mean, they got Azar Swain, who's putting up almost 20 points per game, and then it drops off. Looks like they just need to contain one guy. They're not a great deep 3-point shooting team at 233. I think that's a good matchup for Purdue to get past Yale. And then, oh my God, I've been bullying San Francisco all week. They receive an at-large bid. They will be going against the Murray State Racers in a 7-10.
That's going to be an awesome game.
Elaborate. What's the matchup there? What's the allure of it?
Both smaller schools that have had very good seasons this year. I don't know. Normally you see I feel like it's pretty rare to have a 7-10 and it's 2 mid-major programs. So that's pretty cool. I mean, Murray State's only lost 2 games this year. So
yeah, you're right about the 7-10s because it's normally like a bigger school, like a mid-major, not a mid-major, sorry, a mid-major and a Power 5. Like Davidson, Michigan State, or Ohio State, Loyola Chicago. And it's not often you see 2 smaller schools going at it. Whew. All right, that was the last announcement. Kentucky has St. Peter's. Any teams not announced that you guys were expecting to see there?
Texas A&M.
Well, I know the big ones I think that were on the bubble were, I think one of them, a lot of people were talking about whether BYU would make it. They didn't. But I don't think I'm surprised. I tended to side with, I guess I'm trying to figure out who would have taken their spot in this case, but they were kind of on the bubble anyway. So that's the only one I can think of. I think we mentioned SMU earlier too. Somebody said that. David, maybe.
Shout out to CBS for giving us credit where credit's due. Atlantic 10, one of the lead divisions with multiple bids. 2.
Almost 3 bids. Dayton, they just said was replacement 1, first 4 out.
Hey, if a team pulls a Russia.
Dayton's good, but yeah, Dayton's good, but I think that Malachi Smith injury that happened yesterday would be a big issue for them because the wheel completely fell off after he got hurt yesterday.
Yeah,
but
that team did not look the same.
Dayton replacement 1. That's kind of surprising. They have 4 bad losses this season. 3 of them came at the beginning of the year. But
yeah, quad 4.
No, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that they have 4 really bad losses, including one to LaSalle. And let me just quickly pull it up here. Yeah, lost to UMass Lowell. GW knows a bit about that at home. Lost to Lipscomb. Lost to Austin Peay. You can't lose those games and expect to make it into the tournament. They would be a lock for the tournament if they hadn't lost those games.
Yeah, I'm a little upset to see Rutgers getting in over Texas A&M. A lot upset, honestly. I thought Rutgers didn't look that great when I watched them play. They're solid, but I did not think they looked like a tournament team. They are led by Ron Harper Jr., which is kind of cool. He goes to high school in my hometown, but I didn't think they cut it. Yeah.
Rah rah. What else can you say? Rah rah Rutgers.
Oh God, I
mean, yeah, they're not going to beat them or Notre Dame. Neither of those teams are going to beat Alabama, so it doesn't really matter. At least in my opinion. I don't know if you guys think differently. Do either of those teams have a chance to make it past Alabama, in your opinion?
No, unless Alabama plays terribly. GW alum Mike Bray.
Mike Bray's a GW alum. Look at that.
I'm pretty sure he is.
We're not talking about Michael Bray, Lutheran minister.
I don't think so. Hold on. Maybe I completely made this up.
No. My Google for some reason gave me a very different Mike Bray when I tried to find his Wikipedia.
Yeah, he went to GW, 1981 to 1982.
So
Got a bachelor's degree in physical education.
Hey.
Just running.
Just running.
Just running, a little jumping. Anyway.
Speaking of just running, you know what? We're going to go with this. Do you guys remember Tony Snell? He came out and put up in like 24 minutes, no points, no rebounds, no assists, no steals.
Of course.
Which team this tournament that's not a 16 seed is going to put up a proverbial Tony Snell? Who's going to just come out and drop a horrible performance, lose by 30?
Yale.
You mean what's just going to be a massive upset?
Yeah, what's a massacre? Just like even if it's a lower seed getting destroyed, like Yale before
Yale just a completely terrible offense. I would be shocked if they can put any points up even on a mediocre Purdue defense.
And you said 15 or above don't count?
15 or below don't count. So just like not the two teams that you know are going home. 14 and above, right. Anyone can kind of win. You know, it's not likely for 14, but they at least deserve respect.
Right.
I'm going to go with... who's got Arkansas? Which team had Arkansas? Was it New Mexico State? No, Vermont. Vermont's getting bodied by Arkansas. Arkansas looks great. You know, they're not the best offensive team, 40th, but they're great on the defensive end, 16. I don't see how a team like Vermont, which gets by on just... In the regular season, they just have the most athletic and tallest people. So they just beat the other America East teams because it's the America East. Yeah, their go-to scorer is a guard this year. Actually, nope, it's a senior, 6'8", Ryan Davis from River Grove, Illinois, who is 250 pounds. They rely on the size down low. He's a post presence, and he's not going to be able to get in against Arkansas.
To be fair, Ryan Davis, second in the country in player efficiency rating this season.
Whoa, good stat pull. Good for him. But what was Vermont's opposition this year?
That's where it gets less impressive, but still a legitimately strong player on their team.
They beat Yale.
Mount St. Mary's.
The Mount.
Apparently, the Mount should have made it to the final. Apparently, they got a very unfavorable refereeing decision in their semifinal.
The women are dancing. From the Mount.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat the Bryant Bulldogs to block Bryant from having the illustrious two teams in March Madness. So that went a lot quicker than I thought it would. Also, I always forget that they do it in a half hour, even though they say the program's an hour long.
They do a lot of talking after, I guess. They do a lot of analysis. So
yeah, so we'll stay on and do that until... When did you guys say you had until? Like 7:30? You said...
I've got until 7:30.
All right. Because we've lost most of the women's group. Ashley and David were supposed to be two of the other anchors on the women's group, and they can no longer make it. We may just be calling off the women's bracket. I'm going to tweet stuff about it, though, from our Twitter. So if you're listening and do want to watch women's bracket announcements, we're probably going to stop this stream at 7:30, but I will be live tweeting the Selection Sunday show. Because I put some effort into that Google sheet. I only got like 30 of the teams, but I got some great information. Best name in basketball history, Cola Bad Bear. on the Montana State Bobcats. She's third team in their division, 11 points per game. She's pretty good. I've watched some of her tape because I saw her name was Bad Bear. Because you're reading the articles and they refer to her as Bad Bear. I'm like, oh, that's a cool nickname. No, her name is Cola Bad Bear, and she's really good.
Sure, it's not Koala Bad Bear. Because that would be even cooler.
That would be cooler, but no, it is Cola, I think, unless I messed it up. I'm gonna fact check myself. No, Cola Bad Bear, Montana State Bobcats. I was also surprised to see how many people on the Montana State team are actually from Montana. Like, you'd think that they'd have to do some recruiting from real states, like states that aren't Montana.
They can ball.
Can I quote you on that, Nick?
Yeah,
real states. Montana's not a real state.
Yeah. Are there men dancing this year? Montana State?
No, I think just Montana. There's a Montana, no?
Yeah, the men's team is playing Texas Tech, and the women will be dancing. They won their division, and they're going to be like a middle seed. All right, let's talk about the thing that everyone loves, unless you guys have a topic. Upsets. Early upset picks. Who we got?
I mean, one that we haven't talked about yet, which actually is a team I'm very high on, and I think they could even make it out of based on where they're sitting, they could make it out of the second round, depending on who they play. But Virginia Tech could very easily beat Texas. They looked so good, not just in last night's game against Duke, but in just the entire tournament run. I'm super high on Storm Murphy and also Hunter Couture, both of their guards. So, yeah, I think that's an upset. And depending on who they get out of the Yale-Purdue game, Purdue will be tougher than Texas. But, again, I mean, they have it together, and they could definitely make a run, in my book.
I do. Yeah. I kind of like San Francisco as an early upset pick. I think over Murray State, I think there's someone to consider. I mean, they're 21st ranked in KenPom. They're solid rankings. Their seed doesn't quite reflect that. So I think that's one place you can look for a possible upset.
Are you a big Kenneth Pomeroy? Is his first name Kenneth? KenPom, quick with it. Already updating teams in the tournament. They've already put them highlighted red. Worst team in the tournament, according to KenPom, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I think this is not the first year that they've been the worst team in the tournament coming out of the Southland. They are 243 in the nation.
Worse than GW.
That is a low bar.
Yeah, that is very low. Who are they playing in the first round?
I think they have Kansas, or they have a playing game, I believe.
Maybe all GW needs to really make a run is to transfer to their conference.
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
GW in the Southland. Why not?
James Bishop and Joe Bamis will be averaging like 40 each.
All right.
On 50 shots each.
Ooh. You don't have a lot of faith in the G-Dub, the team.
No, I have faith in the team.
I have none.
I just think it's fun to chirp a little bit.
I think we're gonna be going to March Madness with the women next year. I'm calling it now. This team's gonna be so good. I think we're gonna get an at-large bid out of the A10 or.
I like that after their tournament run.
Listen, if they're doing this with this team, we're adding. Was it Nyana Robertson, one of the best point guards in the country?
Apparently, she's really good. Yeah.
You got to find her game tape. I think it's on Huddle. She just pulls up from wherever she wants to pull up and makes it. She was what we were told Nia Locke could be. No offense to Nia Locke.
Yeah.
There was too much pressure on her this year to be a star scorer. She didn't succeed, but she's got range.
The key is also that we're replacing Kiara with another scorer because, again, obviously Gingras does not have that in her arsenal, and we need somebody who can run the floor with that. So, also, I don't know if you guys saw, but we also, if you look at Huddle, the tapes for Avery Treadwell, who's a great forward and is going to provide some height down low. So, yeah, no, the women's team could definitely make it next year. It just depends on if Dayton comes back the same way, and it depends on if, honestly, Beth O'Boyle and VCU looked pretty good too. when I was covering that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come back because they have a pretty young team with Taya Robinson and I'm forgetting the name of their forward, but
Sarah Tibiasu.
yes, guard. Sorry, Sarah Tibiasu.
Yeah, GW needs size and scoring from guards, and they are recruiting both of those. So hopefully it'll be good next year.
No, McCombs has a plan. I mean, that's really what matters. She knows what she wants to build there, and that should be enough of a promise, even if we don't make it. The fact that team's going in the right direction.
It's much easier when you don't have COVID in your second and third years.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any 1 seeds that you guys think are going to not make it to the Sweet 16?
To the Sweet
16.
16. That's a great. I love that
Good
question.
Are we going to get to see another similar situation to the crying flute girl at Villanova? Do you guys remember that? When Villanova lost, they were a 1 seed and they lost to an 8 or 9 seed, and they had the girl playing the flute and she was like sobbing, like she was crying and she's playing the flute, which is terrible. But anyway, what do you think? Gonzaga, Baylor, Kansas, Arizona?
I think Gonzaga makes it either way. I think the only way Baylor doesn't make it is potentially UNC. I'll just go through them. I think my other pick is that Kansas versus Arizona will make it, and I think the only other one I see is potentially Kansas versus Creighton because I think Creighton has the matchup to do that. Mm-hmm. But I would say the only one I can really see happening is if UNC and Baylor play, and that's a stretch, but it could happen. I mean, UNC is good. They knocked off Duke at the end of the season there, and so that's my take. But I don't know if anybody else has others.
Perkins, do you have one that's not going to make it?
As much as I would love to be exciting and say that I do, I think I agree with Scott that the only one that really makes sense would be Baylor UNC, but I think in all likelihood it's probably going to be all 4 1 seeds in the Sweet 16 this year.
Honestly, I'm looking at Baylor St. Mary's, even if they get past UNC. I think that St. Mary's has something. I think they got a lot of talent this year. Arizona, I thought would, if they got the wrong matchup, could go out. But I don't think TCU, Seton Hall, I don't think these are the teams that are going to be stopping them.
We're saying not making it to the Elite Eight, and I don't hate Iowa to beat Kansas in the Sweet 16 if they're both there.
Oh, I was projecting too far ahead with St. Mary's. You're right. To make it to the Elite Eight.
Midwest matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Murray State snagged a 7 seed, so I'm just seeing that now. They're not the kind of... They were like a high-ranking team coming out of the Ohio Valley Conference.
Didn't they win the tournament?
Yes, they were they were 27th in net rank and 27th Ken Palm ranked teams.
So it's probably that combined with the fact that they're 30-2. That probably threw them up a little bit, but I don't know. What do we think is also the most packed section of the bracket, that region?
Ooh.
Meaning, like, what's the toughest for teams?
I think the West just has a solid 8 teams. I'm not sure about like the smaller seeds, but Gonzaga's great. Uconn, Arkansas, Bama, Texas Tech, Michigan State, and Duke are all teams that feel like they've been seeded correctly. Like they're all deserving of their spot. Davidson's a strong 10, and Memphis is a good 9. I feel like that's just a good pot of 10 teams that are gonna, once we get to the second round, that's when the West is gonna heat up. I think that's the hardest for teams to get through after the first round.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
That was going to be my answer as well.
Is the strongest.
They also have everyone's favorite upset pick that never wins in Vermont.
Right.
And what will almost certainly be the most popular upset pick this year with everyone probably. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people picking against Duke in the first round here as a sort of wishful thinking. I imagine there's going to be a lot of Cal State Fullerton fans this next
I don't
week.
know. Yeah, I said they would lose in the first round. I don't know. I wish I could.
Liam, you think they will?
About Cal State. I said I said they would, but I don't know. Cal State Fullerton. If they played Delaware, I would have just been like,
I
go
mean,
for it. Why not?
if you look at their route, right? So they got Cal State Fullerton. If because they probably will. If they beat Fullerton, then you got Mich State or Duke. I mean Davidson, excuse me. I mean, you could probably knock off either one of those two, although they'll give you more of a fight. I don't know. I think it gets tough with Texas Tech if they make it there. So I mean, it's possible they lose in the Sweet 16. And
I want to see Davidson beat Duke. Little inner North Carolina battle. That would be awesome.
True.
That would be like would be okay if Davidson beats Duke and not a single other pick of mine goes right. I would be content.
Okay, this is something I'm just remembered to bring up. The OVC, did you guys see what their catch line was for their tournament this year?
I didn't.
So most divisions do something stupid like Missouri Madness for the Missouri Valley Conference. Something simple.
They call it Arch Madness.
Arch Madness, that's right. I'm sorry. That was the best one.
I actually love that.
That was
That's actually
good.
pretty clever.
There's some that aren't good. Like I think Atlantic Sun is literally just Atlantic Madness. Whatever. But
What's the Atlantic 10?
or the
What's the
Atlantic.
A10?
Ooh, what is the A10?
I don't know if there is one.
Are we just lame and we don't have one?
I guess so.
The worst one though, at least we're not the Ohio Valley Conference, who've gone with you've got to OVC it. Like trying to say you've got to love it. You've got to OVC it. That doesn't even work. It doesn't fit as a pun.
It's forced. It's definitely forced.
So forced. I'm looking. The A10. Did you guys see the glasses that they handed out to media members? Like great people, great experiences. The Atlantic 10. Those are
They're
fire.
pretty sweet. I used it last night.
Oh yeah,
It looks like a charm.
I've been using mine, and they were brilliant. I should have cleaned it before I used it. That was on me though.
Yeah, I didn't do that either.
Yeah, I got yelled at.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I'm looking for the. I don't think we have one of the silly taglines. I think we're literally just hashtag A10MBB is what we use.
A10 in DC.
Did you catch at the CAA tournament in the first game? They weren't saying like this team 3. It was the Mystics announcer who was still just screaming DC 3 for every team that made a 3. So it was William and Mary against like.
It was Northeastern.
Northeastern, and every team, despite not being from DC, would just go DC 3. Like that doesn't work. And neither of these teams.
That's awesome.
Are from there.
That's brilliant.
Shit, I wish.
How do we feel about the? So I'm going on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that South Dakota State is the best upset pick. That they're going to beat Providence. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Because apparently South Dakota State is the best 3-point shooting team in like the modern era.
Yeah,
in the modern era. What does that even mean? Like they're just shooting like 70%?
They are shooting 44% from 3. Their effective field goal percentage is 59.7%, which is the best in the country. And they're playing against what people believe is a weak 4 seed.
And they,
yeah.
Sorry,
they haven't lost since December 15th.
Providence or South Dakota State?
No, South Dakota State.
I was gonna say, didn't Providence just have an upset? I'm blanking on who, but somebody just beat them, whether it was in their tournament or somebody beat them.
Yeah, I think was it Creighton maybe?
Yes, Creighton.
It might have been,
and it wasn't. It was like a 4 seed being a 1 seed in the Big East, whatever. But it was by like 29 points. It was ugly.
South Dakota State's last loss. Common opponent with GW, Missouri State.
The question with South Dakota State.
Kind of good, Missouri State. They were.
Yeah, I had them going to the tournament.
What was they? Isaiah Mobley? Isaiah Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley.
Yeah.
Wow.
The question I think with South Dakota State is, which is with all 3-point shooting teams, which is great to have it in your arsenal. The question is, how often, like, in the chance that they're not hitting them, do they have what it takes to still pull it off? Do they have the firepower?
Yeah.
Do they have the force?
You're right, but the idea is that they're not going to not hit them. But
That's
I don't know.
true. The idea is that's going to carry them.
I said this about Alabama. They take a lot of 3-pointers, and same thing can be the case for South Dakota State.
My thing is their defense is so sketchy. 278th in points allowed per game coming out of the Summit League. So they're allowing a bottom 50, 60 number of points per game in the Summit League, which is not what you want to see. You shouldn't be letting... I don't even know who's in the Summit League other than South Dakota State. Is that Austin, PA? No, that's Oral Roberts.
Like South Dakota.
Yeah,
It's like South Dakota, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. And that makes up some of them.
Oral Roberts, Kansas City, Western Illinois, Denver, St. Thomas, Minnesota, and Omaha. Oral Roberts were solid again this year for what it's worth, 12-6.
Max Asmus.
They were fun until everyone realized that their school is insanely homophobic. And then everyone was like, oh yeah, we shouldn't really be rooting for Oral Roberts. They're one of the weird schools.
But, South Dakota State on Ken Palm, 12th in offense, 220th in defense. So
heavy metal basketball. That's what that is.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining games. Take the
over.
So it looks like Providence have been starting 4 seniors and a junior. AJ Reeves, Noah Hirschler, Jared Bynum, Elijah Durham, and Nate Watson. I think veteran leadership is gonna come out there. I'm writing this down now. I'm gonna eschew the popular upset pick, and I'm gonna stick with Providence. Are you guys liking the Jackrabbits though? Any big fans?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick them. Why not?
Yeah, I think first round you definitely pick them. Again, if we're not just talking bracketology kind of stuff, you got to pick some upsets. Throw them in there.
I like picking really good offenses for my upsets because I think it's easier to upset a team if you're just hitting a ton of shots than if you're not hitting shots but you're also stopping them from hitting shots. Yeah. So even if they have a truly abysmal defense, as long as they are hitting their threes, I do like them to get an upset in there.
Also, ESPN is being annoying and will not be releasing the bracket until 8 p.m. But there is a GW bracket group for our one viewer, which I think is my girlfriend. I'm dropping that to you, one viewer. Honestly, I wanted to put this together mostly A, because I wanted to talk to people as it came out, and B, I wanted to practice doing this so we can have a big version of it when everyone's on campus. Not of this event, but next year I want to make this a big deal. So thank you guys for coming and helping us try this out. We can do a little more bracketology and then sign off whenever you guys got to go, though. Thank you.
I mean, once we're in the tournament next year, then it's going to be really exciting once we have double bids.
Oh yeah,
right.
when we have both teams
Absolutely.
dancing.
Both teams in, yeah.
Who's the guy that's supposed to be our Chet Holmgren?
Keegan Harvey.
Keegan Harvey, yeah.
Kind of looks like Chet Holmgren. He's gonna come in. He's gonna average a quadruple double.
Is that blocks?
Gonna be,
I assume?
Turnovers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Turnovers. Okay.
The Russell Westbrook quadruple double.
Don't Russell Westbrook, please. Call him by his proper name.
My friend and I had this word for the opposite of a good triple double. It was 10 turnovers, 10 missed shot. Oh, I can't remember what it was.
And you end -10.
Yeah, it was something else. Or it was I can't say that. There was a not nice word for someone who would do that. It was yeah. I shouldn't even start that story. St. Peter's was a team before. I don't know. We're running out of teams to hype up, but St. Peter's was a team that I saw get a little bit of love coming out of the MAC. I think they beat Howard in their tournament. Shout out to our DC friends. They're ranked one spot above Colgate, but unlike Colgate, our defensive stalwart, 34th in KenPom on defense, 259th on offense.
Yeah. They're also an early game. I'm looking at the schedule, and within the first 4 games, 3 number 1 teams play. Gonzaga plays, then Baylor plays, then Kentucky plays St. Peter's, and then Kansas plays. So they're pretty, shall we say, straight games, at least to start out. Again, I was kind of hoping, it's funny, I was watching some tournament stuff yesterday and the past couple of days, and the UMBC was in the final. They could have been dancing again, but they didn't win. Obviously, I think they lost to what may be actually St. Peter's. Am I wrong?
Or I think no, UMBC lost to Vermont.
Vermont, maybe it was
Yeah.
Vermont. But yeah, so we may have had them dancing again. But yeah, no, I guess the games to start off, usually they throw like a 7 and 10 there in like the second game or something to get people started. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still keep track of it, but they're games that presumably wouldn't be too exciting, especially Gonzaga, Georgia State. But you never know.
Out of the so the first 4 is the not exciting one, but which one of those matchups, those 4 games, are you gonna be following closely? Because we'll have 8 games in those 2 days, right? The men and the women are happening at the same time now, so we'll have 8 games. We don't know the women's 4 yet. Again, check the WRGW Sports Twitter for updates.
You mean the first 4 like in games?
Yeah. So Texas.
Oh
Southern,
no, so I was just talking about the Thursday games, like to start the tournament.
Yeah. So like before that though, we got 4 games. Are you gonna be watching? Like, which one are you looking forward to most?
I think Indiana, Wyoming for me, Liam and Nick.
Yeah,
I think Wright State Bryant is going to be a fun game.
I
was going Wright
want to
State
see
Bryant.
on the big stage. I want to see Kiss on the big stage. I want to see that so bad.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of I've been complaining about Bryant this entire time, but I think it's a crime that Bryant and Wright State are in the playing games. But that'll be a fun game.
I think
Maybe we'll
I
have another
agree.
team that goes first 4 to Final 4 like UCLA did last year.
Oh, another reason to be mad at Jacksonville State. They're not playing in a playing game, and they shouldn't have even been in this tournament. So not only did they rob Bellarmine, they just robbed Wright State and Bryant State and Texas Southern and Corpus Christi of a real seed. Damn.
I think all the games except for the first game I'll pay attention to. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to watch in full, but I think the first game, the 2-16 seeds, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Texas Southern, I probably won't pay attention to. But
Yeah, you may be turning on if it's close at the end, but
right. I mean, I think Rutgers and Notre Dame is going to be interesting. So yeah, that's why I'm tuning into. I mean, that's always a good one.
That's the money grab game. That's
Yeah.
the game they had to set it up. What was it? UCLA versus Michigan State last year. That was the money grab game last.
That actually ended
That's
up
right,
being
they-
a good game though, right?
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah, that was a very good game actually.
They always put one team in there. They had Syracuse a couple years. They always put a game in there that people are going to want to watch.
Mhm.
Syracuse not in the tournament. When's the last time that happened?
Ooh.
It's a good point.
I'll be flying into Syracuse tomorrow, so I wonder what the vibe's gonna be like up there.
Well, I don't know if they were that. Were they good this year?
No, they're not really good. They haven't been good the past few years, but they go on a run towards the end of the year. They sneak in and they make the Sweet 16 every single year.
So they missed it in 2017 and 2015, but those are the only 2 times that they've missed it since 2008. So they're on a
Jeez.
10-year streak of going 8 for 10, which is insane. Yeah, they fell to Duke in the ACC tournament, losing by 9.
Yeah.
Sorry.
On this kind of note, what do we think about where? Do we think? I mean, we've kind of talked about this already. Are there any teams in the tournament that maybe should be, or anything that we haven't talked about where you think they're maybe seated wrong, or that they put in they shouldn't? I mean, I was just looking. What do you guys think about where Michigan was put? Where they fell in this? I don't know if it's a little high or if they should have been, because there was a lot of talk that they were on a bubble before the tournament. Like,
And then
as of
Phil
last
Martelli
night,
saved
too.
them.
Yeah,
They got saved by Phil Martelli. They need to get rid of Juwan Howard and hire Phil Martelli. That's what they need to do. I'm kidding, obviously, but I don't know. You're right. It's interesting because, like you said, it was like, oh, Michigan's not going to make it. So I think that Michigan and Colorado State game is going to be really interesting because obviously Colorado State has been one of those mid-major darlings for basically all year. So
yeah. I mean, I also had heard. I only say that also because I'd heard in watching some of the Big Ten games and just seeing performances and towards the end of the year also. I mean, I had heard that in the past week of championship week that the tide had flipped and that Indiana was I think what many people thought they would be in the position that Michigan is in, and it would be flipped. But it seems the selection committee went the other way. Because I heard a lot of talk, or at least I was reading a lot that said that they were kind of paired together. In other words, their fates were Indiana. They won a couple games in the Big Ten tournament and kind of put them on the right side of the ship because they were on the bubble for a while too. But
any other questions or thoughts or deposit to the group? Because I have one I want to close on, but I'll get there last. No, I have two, but we'll get those last.
What's the team that you think is going to be a popular pick to either make the Final Four, make the finals, win it all, that you don't think is getting to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight? We'll say Sweet 16.
I like
so
that.
So who's
everyone's
yeah who's Sorry. People who they're going to be picking the team to go really far, but you don't think they're making the Sweet 16? Because for me, it's Auburn.
Yes.
Because I think Auburn, people are going to like them because they're the 2 seeds, so they're going to be picking them to win it all because people don't really like to pick the 1 seeds a lot of the time. They know Jabari, but I just think Auburn has such bad decision-making down the stretch and not getting the ball into the hands of Jabari enough when they need to. And I think that's going to cost them. And they're going to beat Jacksonville State. I mean, I would be shocked if they lose, but I think they're going to lose to whoever wins the USC Miami Florida matchup.
Yeah, I
Am I allowed to say Duke?
Duke.
Is my answer allowed to be Duke? Also, Wisconsin. Too reliant on one player. Johnny Davis takes like 30-40% of their shots, which is like there's never been a team that has made the Final Four with a player taking that many shots. And obviously he's really freaking good, but so there's a reason he takes all the shots. But that's another thing where it's like teams that take so many 3-pointers and teams that rely on one player. Who's to say that, he doesn't have an off night? So Wisconsin kind of scares me. Maybe they kind of have an easy path to the Sweet 16 if they get past Colgate, because then it's LSU or Iowa State. And I mean, LSU is like obviously not in a good place right now since their coach just got fired or pushed out or whatever. And then Iowa State's really interesting because they won like one game last year, and then suddenly they came in, they had an awesome non-conference schedule, and then they very much started sputtering in Big 12 play, but I guess they picked up enough good wins to make it into the tournament. So
I'm going to agree with you on Wisconsin. I think I'm going to pick the Red Raiders over them. I did that last year with Colgate just because I love a team that's going to bomb from 3. But I don't think that they have the defense, I guess, to slow down Colgate. They're not the best at forcing turnovers or defending shots or allowing their opponent to not shoot well from 3, if I can find their sports reference page. I think that could be a first round out for Wisconsin, and I'm gonna stick by that. That's gonna be my big upset pick. They allow They allow their opponents to shoot 113th from deep. That's actually pretty good considering they're in a competitive conference. But we'll see how they can do it.
Wait, we were talking about the first 4 earlier. Can we just talk about a little bit of the scheduling quirk of Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi having to fly to Dayton for the first 4 game, and then the winner of that game gets to go to Fort Worth, Texas. So that seems a bit stupid, doesn't it?
That's hilarious.
Are they the one? Is that also the game that's playing Kentucky? No, wait, that's playing Kansas.
I don't know.
Because if they're playing Kansas, then they're like the 3rd game on Thursday. Like they're the first one of the first games.
Yeah, I think they are playing Kansas. Yeah, they're playing Kansas. So it's
kind of a quick turnaround.
Flying from Texas to Ohio, back to Texas, and then just to get boat raced by Kansas.
Right.
That is unfair.
Win some, you lose some. You get the TV money. It's good for the athletic department.
How do the finances work like that? Is it like soccer where they get a payout for? I don't understand it.
I don't know.
I feel like it's covered by the league, no, or the NCAA.
Oh, I don't know if they're like American sports where it's like a joint, everyone gets the same amount, or if it's like a Bundesliga where it's your team's performance tied to television revenue, or it's just EPL where it's split evenly. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's an interesting topic. I'm not really sure.
the finances of college basketball.
My real quick before you go into that last point.
No,
Nick,
go.
Mine is I completely agree with Duke. I think it's totally plausible that they don't make it. I'm just not totally buying in. I know it's his last season, but the team isn't what it's been in other years.
How funny would it be for them to lose in the first round in his last
That'd be
season?
hilarious.
It'd be hilarious and
Awesome.
it'd be really tough, especially since every game he's tried to win that means something, like the last game of the season, the ACC tournament, like none of them have gone through. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like maybe that's the reason though why they will do well this year, is because every year like we think they're going to do well, and then they take an early exit. And this year, now I'm saying, or at least I feel like some people are saying like, oh, they might not make it. And now they'll, end up making it.
Yeah, I'm hedging my bets on them. They're not going past the Sweet 16 just because I don't want to get hurt. Yeah.
I also.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you got it. I was just gonna say, I can't believe that they seeded this to try and get Coach K one more matchup against Izzo before he retires. Because you have Michigan State as the 7 seed right there against Davidson. So if both of them win, then they could have one of Coach K's last games, potentially his last game, be against Izzo. That is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
The other thing on that too, and I'll pick one more team, but the other thought there is that they also put UNC on the other side, so it makes me think they scheduled it so that can't really possibly happen, or it would be very tough to have them meet again. The storyline would be great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not actually sure why they wouldn't want that storyline, but it's just they completely. Oh wait, no, yeah, no, I lied. I'm sorry. They put them on the same side of the bracket, but like they'd have to both make the Final Four. So,
I know that the committee tries to keep teams that have already played. They try to keep them away from each other so that they don't play again, especially in the early rounds.
The only other one I'll point to, and it's more of like a potential one, is I would not be surprised if a lot of people picked Purdue to get to the Sweet 16. And I would maybe say that, again, this is just me being big on Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech could possibly knock them off. So maybe Purdue in a certain world. But
I hate to interrupt, but Tom Brady just unretired.
I saw that.
There's no way. No.
Back. No, he's back. He just tweeted out that his heart belongs on the field, so he's coming back for one more season in Tampa. So even all the Bill Simmonses of the world who thought he was going to San Francisco. Nope, one more year in Tampa.
I think wait, we can't go off air on that note. So Nick, you got to ask that other question. I'm so upset. I can't. Yeah, no, that's
Tampa.
Let's make sure that
profanity on the WRGW live stream.
Our great new general manager did not hear that.
Well, we're not on. Well, see, here's the thing though. We're not on. I don't think we're not on air, right, Nick?
Huh?
We're not on air, right?
Yeah, we're not on air.
I think if we're just being streamed to YouTube, then it's all right because we're not on terrestrial radio. So I think we're good.
Well, I don't really think anyone's listening.
That's true.
Yeah, we're good. This is just something I wanted to show clips of and put into my archive and to show Katie and Reggie as something that we could do next year.
Right.
This is a test run.
Look, we can. I think we all need to. After that news, I think we'll all probably need to think for a sec, long and hard about the history, the future of the NFL.
Tom Brady has tortured the New York Jets for too long, and I thought I was finally free, but no.
The New York Jets have their own problems. They don't. Yeah, but that's actually kind of true. It's like the Jets, they've got all their other stuff going on.
Why did he go back
Tom Brady
to Tampa?
coming back.
We almost beat him last year. We almost beat him. It was fun.
He should have gone to San Francisco.
I thought he was going to San Francisco.
He should have gone to San Francisco. He's an idiot. That's where the money is. That's where he can win.
But how do I get this up on there?
Anyway, sorry. What was your last thing, Nick?
No, I was just gonna say, have you seen the number one tweet underneath Tom Brady saying that is the Simpsons gif of the grandpa walking in, putting his hat, walking in a circle, grabbing his hat, putting it back on, and then leaving.
Did anyone actually expect him to stay retired?
No, but I thought he'd give it a year.
No, I didn't. I was surprised when he retired.
I thought he would come back in like October. Like, if the Buccaneers were just terrible, I thought Tom Brady would come out of retirement and play for them for the rest of the year. But Here we are, I guess.
For like the first month, I believed it, and then it slowly decayed to.
It's only been a month. What do you mean the first month?
Well, no, I thought he's been
He retired
like...
on February 1st.
Dang, really? Okay, never mind. For the first week, then I guess time's weird like that. I thought he retired.
Or it depends because like you had the whole Schefter report and then Brady announcing himself. So I'm not, but I think the official Brady announcement was February 1st.
Another great reply on Twitter. Prayers up for Amari Cooper. Nothing happened to him. He just has to play with Baker Mayfield. Completely unrelated, but people on Twitter sometimes are amazing with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Was not expecting that one.
I don't know. I'm more interested on where Watson's going to go. My money's on the Saints.
I think it's the Panthers now.
I would be so upset if the Eagles trade for him.
I hear the top two teams are the Panthers and Saints.
Yeah. It's like you can't root for that piece of shit. Oh, we're not on the radio. I can say that. You can't root for him. He's an asshole. He's a horrible person.
Yeah. I don't care if he doesn't have criminal charges. He's a dickhead.
Well, I don't know what you saw. Guys, you must not have seen. Adam Schefter said he knew the truth would come out and he's totally innocent.
Yeah, that was a
so dumb.
Bad tweet. That was a
someone needs to tell Adam Schefter just down? never to tweet something unless it's a trade or someone signing somewhere.
He responded to it and was like, "This I like worded this poorly, blah blah blah, all this stuff." It's like, dude, just delete the tweet. It's bad. Like, you're carrying this guy's water, and he's a serial sexual assaulter.
Wait, so this is why Deshaun Watson from the beginning. He felt that the one. Yeah, well, he felt that he knew the truth would come out, so he's phrasing it as the truth is that he didn't. Oh my god,
it was bad. It was bad.
That is not.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, Tom Brady did this on literally as the brackets being released. What a diva!
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of NFL quarterbacks looking for attention, nothing made me happier when the Russell Wilson trade happened an hour after Aaron Rodgers announced he was coming back to the Packers. And then Rodgers tweeted out I am coming back to the Packers, but I haven't signed the contract yet. He tried to get the attention back on him, but he couldn't do it. It was so funny.
Yeah.
One of the people from our Discord, Scott, do you know who M Green Splash 40 is?
No, I don't. Is that a Discord name?
Oh, that is Max Greenhaw. It was a Discord name that was coming up weird. He wants to share, I can't tune in right now, but for men's, you should give a hot take about a hilariously underseeded Boise State team beating the Zags in the second round.
Boise State, I've heard, didn't they win? They won their tournament. I think they're an auto bid.
Yeah, they're like a good team, I think, but they're not going to beat them.
26th on Ken Palm.
Really? Interesting.
29th on NCAA.
I'm surprised Max Greenhaw didn't try to push his Aztecs.
Yeah, that's a classic Max Greenhaw. Wow, they're 13th best defense in the country. They're a good rebounding team, but I don't think they're going to match up against Gonzaga's rebounders. I don't know. I do appreciate the input from Max. I just saw a strange Discord name pop up. I'm like, all right. But back to freaking Tom Brady is unretired.
So do we have any other bracket points though? Yeah. There's a lot to talk about Tom Brady. I think that's a whole nother live stream.
That'll be we'll put it on a show next week in one of the open slots. But I do have two last questions. One is, who are you rooting for and why, and who's winning and why? So we can start with who are you rooting for. I'm going with the Colgate Red Raiders for who I'm rooting for. It's the family school. Everyone wanted me to go there, but I did not want to go to the middle of nowhere, New York, as great of a program as it is. But I always root for them in basketball, and they play such an electric style of just we're gonna shoot threes until they go in, and I enjoy that. So who are you guys rooting for?
Just taking a look.
I'll go. Oh, you got it, Liam.
Okay. So first of all, I'm rooting for the teams from the Atlantic 10. So I'm rooting for Richmond and I'm rooting for Davidson. And I said it before, I'm especially rooting for Davidson to knock Duke up because that would be awesome. But no, seriously, Davidson and Richmond are both they're both fun to watch. They're both very fundamentally sound. They play basketball the right way, if you will. And what was the one other one? Oh yeah, Villanova, because I am from Philadelphia, near Villanova, and also. I know they're playing each other in the first round, but if Delaware beat Villanova, that would be really cool.
But they're on the hot streak. Like
Yeah.
coming out of
And
a
who I
tournament.
think is going to win? I'll go with Arizona.
Arizona. All right. Nick Perkins.
I've got two. First team I have to root for, or I have to root for Yale. I mean, basically everyone I know here works at Yale, so I feel slightly obligated to. Again, hometown team, and then in terms of who I will be rooting for on my radio show, the bandwagon. David Korn came on last week, and he convinced us to root for VCU because he thought VCU were really going to make a run. And then VCU lost to Richmond in the A10 tournament. So now I am a Richmond fan.
Oh yeah.
The time
So are
being,
you going to bandwagon it and just go wherever
I am
Richmond
bandwagoning
loses?
it, yeah.
Okay.
Until they inevitably lose, diehard Richmond fan.
So
Go Spiders.
Can you explain the prospect of your well, not the prospect, the premise of your show for those listening who haven't heard it
Of
yet?
course. The concept of the show is the start of a season. We pick a team to root for. Usually it's the team that won last season's championship. And then we root for them until they lose a game. And as soon as they lose a game, we start rooting for whatever team beat them. So it's a format that applies itself very well to the NCAA tournament. So that is the idea there.
Nick, I'm just looking at based on that. Sorry, and then I'll go, or I'll let you continue. But based on the bandwagon, the teams that you could possibly be bandwagoning, like you could be a South Dakota State fan. You could be rooting for Kansas.
That'd be fun.
There's just like a lot of
yeah.
possibilities if you take a look that this could go for you.
Yeah,
Exciting.
because that's a hectic part of the Midwest Conference. The Iowa, Richmond, Providence, South Dakota State. Okay.
Sure to follow the show at the Bandwagon 45 on Twitter to keep up with who we're rooting for at any given point.
Please do. And also tune into your show. What is it? Thursdays at
Of course, Thursdays
4?
from 4 to 5.
So good.
Thank you, Nick.
I was so happy to be on it. Scott,
It's great having you.
who are you rooting for? And then we'll do the who you have to win.
Yeah. So I guess, well, first of all, just to start, it's not really who am I rooting for to win the whole thing, but just at least to get out of the first round, I got to go Rutgers. That's the home state squad there. So I'm going to root for them to beat Notre Dame. I've already said that there's no chance they beat Alabama, but I think they could beat. They could definitely that game could go either way. I feel like. I mean, but in terms of who I'm rooting for, I don't know. I think I personally, and it's kind of probably bled through on this podcast. I mean, I like Virginia Tech a lot. I think not just because of the bracket. I think, I think I'm rooting for Virginia Tech. Because I like their style of play, and also I have an aunt who went there, so we'll go with that. But there's a lot of great teams in this tournament, and I'm sure that I'll kind of bandwagon it like Nick, and if they go out, I'll start rooting for someone else. I'm sure, like for instance, if there's like everybody else, if South Dakota State starts making it far, or some other team, I'm sure there'll be some darling that I'll inevitably tag along to. Again, Chattanooga, you never know. But who do I think is going to win the tournament?
Yeah, give me a men's and women's pick. We have to do something for the women's tournament, despite there
men's
not being a
and
bracket
women's
yet. Yeah, one for each.
So for the men, so for the men's, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think I'm deciding between two. Okay, I think I'm going to go with. I'm just not high on Gonzaga. Very tough. I'm gonna go with Arizona. It may be a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Arizona. I think they can make the push and go through. I just don't see Mark Pugh's squad coming up with it once again. I don't know. They're worse. I think they were worse. This may be a hot take too. But I don't know. I think they're worse than they were last year. So, I think Kispert and that squad were much better. But Drew Timme is still there, and they have a couple other players. Women's team. Nick, throw out, do me a favor. Throw out some teams in that. I'm trying to look up the bracket real quick of the possibilities.
The one seed is almost indubitably undoubtedly going to be the South Carolina Gamecocks, although the NC State Wolfpack are very good. Stanford Cardinal, and then, of course, UConn. If you want to bet safe, you can just pick UConn.
Let's see here.
A10 might be sending multiple teams, hopefully. UMass actually looks pretty good.
I mean, you got to there are teams you always got to keep an eye on. Again, UConn, I mean, especially now that Paige Beckers is back.
Paige Buckets.
Yeah, they're not going to be obviously ranked 1 or 2 this year, I don't think. But with her back, they could make a run. Right? I don't think they're in line. I think without her, they didn't really do as well this year.
They're still 25-5.
Yeah, I think they're still going to cap like a 2. Let's see.
They'll probably get a 2, but they're usually, I think they'll take a little bit of a step back. But especially, who knows? I mean, the selection committee there might see that she's back and may kind of reevaluate. You never know. It's, how that's going to go. But I think you always I would keep an eye on Stanford. They tend to do well and have a pretty solid team. I'm just trying to take a look here. Do either of you guys have women's picks that you're keen on?
Yeah, I'll hit my picks quick. I mentioned her before, the leader of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Caitlin Clark. I think she's outstanding at point guard. She has support as well. She's not out there alone. Gabby Marshall is great. McKenna Warnock. They're my pick. They're a very high-flowing offense. They're first in points per 100 possessions. And I'm really looking forward to them kind of coming in because they're not a traditionally powerhouse women's basketball program. I mean, they're a Power 5 school, but they're not UConn, Stanford, South Carolina. So I'm looking forward to maybe seeing them shake some things up. And on the men's side, I need to read through more stats. I know that's not a good answer, but I don't. As of now, I think I might run Kansas just because I think they have a good layout, or Kentucky possibly. I do like Kentucky. I think I'm going to say Kentucky here, but if I read the numbers and change my mind, don't call me a hypocrite.
All right, I can hop in. For the men's, I think I'm taking the Zags. I think even if there's the narrative that they never win, even if they're so good, I think that doesn't really mean much. And I think
gotta win eventually,
Yeah, exactly.
They will.
They're still on paper the best team. Chet Holmgren is sensational. I really like them. Then for the women's, it's a little boring because my two teams I was going to choose between were going to be Iowa and UConn. But Nick already picked Iowa, so I'll go UConn. Like we were saying, Paige Buckets coming back. Of course, home state team, so I have some loyalty there. I like UConn. I always try and pick them for the women's bracket, so I'm doing it again this year.
And Liam, do you have a pick for the women before we log out? You said Arizona for the men, correct?
Yeah. It has to be UConn. I cannot bet against Paige Buckets. I cannot do it. I will. It's like the tails never fails. You always have to pick tails because it rhymes. You can't bet against Paige Buckets. Who has a better nickname than Paige Buckets? No one. Not to mention the fact that she's a terrific player. She's so much fun. She's so good. Do not have enough good things to say about Paige Buckets. UConn wins the title by 40.
By 4? All right. No. You know what? That's the last sentence we're saying. Because Scott and Nick, you guys have to go now.
Yes.
UConn wins it by 40. I'm good with ending on that. I mean, that's a hell of a quote.
Yeah. So we're gonna end the stream.
Totally possible though. I don't mean to knock it. Totally possible. They are
UConn. Yeah, it's not against them. But be sure to follow both brackets, the WRGW Sports. Have you guys all joined the WRGW bracket group, the challenge? It's in the group chat. It's in the Discord.
Not yet, but I will.
It's pinned to the Twitter. I
plan on winning.
I am going to lose horribly. It happens every year. But it's always because I pick Duke. So this year I'm not going to pick Duke, and they're going to win.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. But
that's how it goes.
Everyone, please stay tuned. Thank you guys for making time on your spring break to do this. I'm going to go do the classic spring break thing and I eat a quesadilla. Have fun, guys.
Same.
Get back safe, everyone, and enjoy the